Good evening. Good evening.
Good evening. It's just vibing to our
All right, then. Good evening. Good evening.
Theme song there.
Right. Thank you very much, everyone. All right. I was trying to do a coordinated introduction. Well, never mind that. Thank you, everyone, watchers, listeners, lurkers, for joining us on Follow Everton. It's me, Yann. It's Ryan, and it's Corey, and we're here on doing the height of excitement on a Friday night. It's a little behind schedule, but technically it's a 6:30 Follow Everton broadcast of a match preview ahead of tomorrow's fixture, a rare 3 p.m. kickoff. How are you feeling, guys?
There you go. Do you know what, mate? I don't want to use the word resign, but it's just gonna be about a point. It's gonna be about points in this game as opposed to performance. That's where I'm at.
Okay.
Ask me another 4 beers.
You guys, come on. Where's the excitement? We're away. There's more chance of points. You know, we've had some fine margins. Newcastle could be distracted by Europe. Come on, aren't we all positive?
We've shown we can beat them, but
well, do you know what? Funny you should say that, mate. I've been looking at the game.
Corey's signal's terrible today.
Oh dear. Right. Well,
yeah.
What were you saying?
Sorry,
I suggest he turns his background off to just see if that helps with the lag, by the way.
Right. Well, okay. Shall we start? Let's start off with the press conference for anyone who didn't watch it. Did you guys watch it? Because I bloody did. And
yeah, of course.
Excellent. Oh, of course. Did you? All right. Well, David Moyes, let's start off with that. People already getting in the comments here. Thank you. Do get your comments in.
He made a couple of strange comments, but I think they were fair comments. I'm sure you'll come to them.
Which was Jared Branthwaite is comfortable at left back, is as comfortable as left back as he is at centre back. Is that the one?
Well, just because you're comfortable playing there and doing a job doesn't mean you're any good at it. I don't think he was particularly good going forward in any of the games I've seen him play at left back. I just think he looks a little bit more in command of situations when he's dealing with opposition wingers. I mean, he clearly is faster, stronger, as athletic as any winger. So I've got no issue with him from a defensive perspective playing at left back. I just think we want a bit more going forward, and he's clearly not very natural as a left back. But this is David Moyes. He seems to be insistent on playing these players out of position, and that wasn't necessarily the main issue I had. I didn't have an issue with Moyes, but he went on to say he was asked about what does Dibbling, Millen, Roll, and Asnu have to do to get a game. And
improve.
Yeah, he was blunt, wasn't he? But he's basically saying they're crap. They're not good enough. But half of them that are playing for us aren't good enough either. So
he's not saying they're crap.
Corey's had to drop by the looks of it. He's
not saying they're crap.
Yeah, he can't say that, but they've got to improve. Basically means they're not good enough, which means they're not good enough, which means they're not good.
Well, it was amidst some other rather vexatious comments that seemed a little bit. I'm not saying anything about David Moyes before we get onto that, open that can of worms. But what I am saying is that his comments about wing or central players coming in and often playing on the wings, and Arteta having done the same, and that Harrison and Branthwaite, and that we've can expect to do the same. They're doing decent jobs, and that we've got enough to rotate. Discuss
about rotation.
It doesn't make sense to me.
I think David Moyes is starting to get on my nerves, to be honest with you, Ian. I mean, I appreciate this is an away game, but we've lost 6 times at the new stadium already and drawn 4, and that doesn't include the one of 2 third-round cup exits against Sunderland. I'm not really bothered for the rotation. I think the best player should play. I think he's got a lot of team selections woefully wrong. I mean, I can talk about Burnley and how I would change things for Burnley. I wouldn't necessarily change an awful lot for this game, Yann, because we've shown we can nick results away from home. I think Newcastle will play very expansive football, try and open us up. And if we go with the 2 snails, or a very slow defence who can't move, we will probably lose the game.
And
I
we've
didn't
also rather,
understand his
we've been
comment.
rather. Well, hang on. We've just you touched on that as well. It's been
Sorry.
rather alarming to think that we've been rather poor, or we've dropped in performance when it comes to free kicks, set pieces, corners, and that Newcastle have a very physical or seem to do. Anyway, yeah, I just thought that even the things that we tried to be doing well, we're not succeeding at these days.
Well, the games have been lost by fine margins as well. He did get pointed out that there was a lot of 1-0 defeats. So we've lost 5 in 13. That's not acceptable. The form is not acceptable. And I wouldn't be surprised if we beat Newcastle and then drop points at home to Burnley, because the way we approach these games is very, very different. We can go into the tactical side of things in a minute, but just in terms of that press conference, he gets asked bad questions. I'm allowed to say this because I'm not affiliated in any way with the club, and I can be as blunt as.
It was almost as if he got set up. Whether the question about James Garner was, come on, let's get him talked about around the England debate. But yeah, easy questions.
Boring questions. Yeah. Boring questions. I'll let Corey speak one.
No, go on, mate. I was literally just going to say about, you're exactly right. Half the time, the questions that are in there, the puff pieces, and there's not much taken to task, I guess. And I mean, look, you've got to look at it from, I guess, the journalist side, where they don't want to start ruffling feathers too much and can't go, what are you thinking about Moyes? Like, what are you doing, you stupid idiot? They can't go in and start saying things like that, can they? But I guess it's.
I would be asking questions like, why, when we play at home, can't we win? And why, when we play at home, are we very solid? He wouldn't like that question. He'd probably ban me. I'd be saying directly, you signed Tyler Dibbling for 35 million reported fee, and he can't get in the team. Is it a tactical issue or a personal issue? He wouldn't like that question. I'd be asking him what he thought about all these night games, which are pissing everyone off.
I'd ask him, is it rather frustrating that you'd say, is it rather frustrating that we seem to get these inability to set into a home routine for a new season? There's been no consideration of the new home, no consideration of fans setting into a routine and feeling like Saturday 3 p.m. football.
It's not.
We're the piss take, and it's just it's tiresome. And you don't get to say that we're throwing toys out the pram when it seems that you're getting treated with less respect or dignity and decorum or just fair treatment. And when you can provide multiple examples and they say, well, that's just how it happens. Well, statistically, it just keeps happening to us.
I think, and if you look historically at the teams that have played like loads of Monday night, West Ham are one of them. They want the Sky Six. They want the Sky Six for the Sunday games. Yeah, that they're the main games that they want. Or if there's a major talking point that week, they want that there. Us, obviously, considering David Moyes, basically the whole story around Everton after last season, going into this season, the new stadium and things like that, I think we're a semi-attractive option to put on TV where we usually wouldn't be. But we're not attractive enough to them because we're not the Sky Six putting on the Sunday games and the early kick-off on a Saturday. So for that reason, what do you relegate? What's the last one that they want to put you on? They want you to be on telly, but they're not. It's the bottom rung of all the night games, all the TV games, and it's going to be the Monday night one. It's always something mad like Brighton versus Wolves or something like that. You know what I mean? It's not the main course. You know what I mean? It's the digestif, it's the aperitif at the end of the meal kind of thing, and that's what we are, because we are quite attractive. I think it's just a bit of a detriment to us.
It's
If that makes sense.
No, absolutely. It's just it's rather galling to think that we get dragged over the coals for several years as fans. We then, I'm just going to sound like a broken record because it's the away fans that are going to make it. Whether we come
We're
out.
Diverging a bit too much here, though.
Yeah, diverging. Yeah, absolutely.
Diverging. Sorry, I think we are maybe because we're getting lost and we're trying to think of the bigger picture. Maybe in terms of a Newcastle, if we just try and focus on this. I'm not saying you're in the wrong, you're in the right. Actually, We're all frustrated,
no.
but it's a 3:00 kickoff on us. What more could they have done? It's fine. It's fine. The kickoff time. I just think Newcastle get away scot-free. They put the away fans tucked in right in the gods, in the heavens, and at Bramley Moor Dock we have the away fans in a glorious position right in front of the TV cameras, and they leave the stadium happy every single time they come.
Because they're taking points.
It's one big fun day out. They get a draw, they get a loss. We don't know how to play the home games. And again, I'm so drawn to ranting about the home form and the home games, and because I do think there is some segue into the fact that the home style of play and the away style of play are so different in what we're trying to do. It's almost like for the away games, we'll turn up, we'll put the best, most physical team out we can and try and nick a win. We're in the home,
we're scared of breaking the china.
Yeah, almost. Yeah.
Like we go away and we go, yeah, we're here to mess stuff up. You've invited us into the gaff, haven't you? And then when we come home, it's like, no, fucking sit down, calm down. Well, you know what I mean. It's like we've got, yeah.
Moyes is basically saying that his players who aren't in the team aren't good enough. He signed half of them. He signed Dibbling for 35 million. He signed Alcaraz, although he did say he would have played apparently on Monday night. I believe that when I see it, probably playing on the left wing. He did sign Ansnu. He did, and I want Alcaraz because I want Alcaraz in the 10. I want Beto to be given a chance. I want Dewsbury Hall deeper.
He's injured.
I know. I'm saying I would have liked that because I think that's what we got goals at the end of last season. It was Beto and Alcaraz turning teams over, slipping him in through on the counter attack, and I think adding Dewsbury Hall into a deeper role there and bringing his goals and assists and his pre-assists in would have allowed us to get even more goals through that format. But we've changed. We try and play tiki-taka at home. I think in this game, I think we just need to try and get Newcastle, invite them on. Moyes is very clearly saying that the players he signed, Mill and Roll, Asnu and Dibbling aren't good enough, so we won't expect to see them. But we do need to go with players who are going to get up the pitch on the counter-attack, and I think that for me is Tyrick George, Dewsbury Hall, Illiman and Jai, and Tiano Barry, and we've just got to basically frustrate Newcastle, piss their fans off, don't make mistakes. We've given away far too many penalties and red cards this season. We've let referees take the piss out of us as well. I just saw in the last match where we had a referee stopping to give a substitution when the player wasn't even ready for Man United. I just think we've got to.
No, hang on. Can we just recap on that? Because to go back to it, I don't want to talk about the drop ball, free kick, goalkeeper thingy incident, whatever. There, I want to talk about how Bruno Fernandes got away with screaming at the referee and giving it that all game without getting anybody commenting on it. It's appalling.
Because it's Bruno Fernandes and it's Manchester United. That's why.
Yeah, but you could see you could see his face, and it's just like a petulant child. It's like, I mean, let's not go there. But come on, plenty of viewers out there have had children, or and stuff. And sometimes you look at the thought of seeing a child that you like 5 minutes ago, you're just like, okay, I'm trying to help you, and then now you're just like, please do not stand in front of me because I'm going to punch you in the face. Like, yeah. See what I mean? He's that kind of.
I've never thought I'm going to punch any kid in the face, but
no, I'm not on a.
I'm team punch kids in the face. I'm with you, Yann.
No,
you know exactly what you're saying when you say punch all kids in the face. I get you.
Rather punch Moyes in the face. There's a lot to talk about in terms of refereeing. We can harp on. We've been absolutely mugged off. Whether it was penalties against us, where the same scenario has happened for us and not been given. I'm talking about handballs. I'm talking about red cards that have been ludicrous and not receiving a red card against us all year, barely having a penalty, some fiasco decisions. We can't allow Newcastle the crowd to influence the referee and to get done with another ridiculous decision. And so, yeah, I mean, we've been ripped off by refs and we've been mugged off by these late kickoffs, the midweek games. We've signed players that haven't had an impact. We've wasted a lot of money, in my opinion, in the summer. I'm losing a little bit of my optimism. I'll be honest. I was feeling quite optimistic a few weeks ago, but I think after the Leeds draw, And the other draws, the Wolves draw, the Leeds draw, the defeats to Bournemouth, the defeats to Brentford, I want to just say it's an effing disgrace. It's an absolute effing disgrace. And I think if this goes on and we lose to Newcastle and we don't beat Burnley, I think there'll be some really fed up people. And we would have basically pissed off Europe. We would have absolutely pissed it up from a completely winnable position, because we've still got to play Chelsea at home. We've still got to play Liverpool at home, City at home. We'll probably lose all the 3 of those. And we've got to play Arsenal away. So there's 4 out of the 11 games left that we're not getting 3 points or even a point from. I'm actually quite angry. You may have sensed it. I'm at my wit's end. And I think he should have come out today and he should have really handled his press conference better.
He's stubborn though, and he'll double down. And that's the way Moyes is. I think there's a lot of positives towards him, but there's a lot of negatives. The issue is when the negative side of David Moyes starts outweighing the positives. And we're in danger of that being the case. Obviously, January, February should have been our chance to push on and get ourselves into a really good position with some of the favourable fixtures that was there, and we've not. Some of it down to obviously injuries at first, but I think a lot of it is down to Moyes' decisions. And like you said, mate, you're angry, you're fed up, and I think the main thing is, it's frustration. It's frustration as opposed to anything else. Frustrating that we're throwing away opportunities, throwing away the chances, literally in games and with the games we've had recently as well, with the running that we've had. And it's the frustration of the decisions that he's making. When the majority of the fan base can see the same thing, and it seems like it's simple stuff that he's not doing, that's when people start getting frustrated. And that, to me, is what it is. And like I said, with the running coming into the back end of the season, now that we've got to finish off the campaign, it does look like it's going to be a bit of a slog, doesn't it? A bit of a struggle. I can still see us getting 12, 15 points, but we need to make the right decisions. And to be honest, most of them points will probably come where we're not expecting it. It'll come with the draws away from home as opposed to the fixtures that we've got at home. Burnley is massively important for that reason. In terms of the positives, number one, he's much better than Sean Dyche. Very much cut from the same cloth, but he's a much better manager than Dyche. Much better man manager, because you can see from the game against Man United, even though I wasn't happy with the performance in terms of a team thing, the actual way they played for the badge, they played for Moyes, they were putting a lot of pressure in.
But hang on. You say he's a better man manager. And let's just throw this into the mix that the players he's brought in, he said, are not good enough or that they need to improve.
He's bought badly,
though, isn't it? Some players it works for, some players it doesn't. He was quite softly with Tieno Barry at first, and then when he started scoring goals, he was a bit harsher on him when he had the confidence. So I think it's horses for courses. Some need the carrot, some need the stick, some need the carrot and then need the stick afterwards. So
some need a shotgun.
Yeah, to be fair. Yeah,
I want to know why my season ticket cost me £900 and I've been to one win all season, which was the Crystal Palace match. And every single match I've been to, we've lost or drawn. And the other 2 games we won, I wasn't there. I'm just contemplating whether it's worth bothering. I don't really like the new ground. I think it's an absolute pain in the arse to get to for transport parking. And
can we talk about Newcastle, please?
You have to shepherd your way through thousands of people through like this really narrow part of the southwest corner. Facilities are awful. And I'm just picking holes because I'm feeling actually quite depressed, because I think it is because of David Moyes. David Moyes is now making me ill. The way it's not even the fact we're losing games. It's losing at home to Brentford 4-1, Tottenham 3-0, crap teams, Newcastle 4-1, crap team, struggling all year. Tottenham struggling all well, Newcastle, Brentford are nothing special. Bournemouth at home, drawing up with Wolves at home, drawing with Leeds at home, drawing with West Ham at home.
Let me ask you to just compare the squad.
We got a fluky win at Villa and United, and people are defending Moyes. We've got 37 points. We're just as good or just as bad as most of the league. We're nothing special. I actually think he's slightly underperforming with some of the level of player he's got. Jordan Pickford, Jared Banthwaite, Ghana Gay seems to have fallen off a cliff. We're talking about top international player for Senegal. He's making players worse. He made Tieno Barry worse. He scored 11 goals last season in Spain. He's made him worse. The only player who seems to have improved is Dewsbury Hall. Spain is a top league, Ian. It's a top division. It's the second most competitive league in the world. I'm just irritated. I think players aren't improving under him. They're getting worse. Some of them are getting worse. And he's not coaching them because he's coming out after 7 months of the season telling them they need to improve. Well, it's your job, mate, to improve these players.
I think that's evidence in the lack of patterns of play. Grealish was a bit of a get out jail free card at times, wasn't he? 'Cause he was so good on the ball. But
we were a one-man team, really, weren't we?
We don't have a oh God, what's that? Forgotten his name. You know, look at the work that the Voltemada does at Newcastle, but the way that the entire setup is, the speed, the amount of consistency of playing football across the pitch. Yeah, okay, it's your job to play to improve players if you're the manager. But I think that ripping David Moyes a new arsehole when essentially we've just had some light upgrades on the same team core squad that was embroiled in a relegation. You know, we've scrabbled on a team that have had 3 consecutive relegation battles, that have had financial constraints, that have had a repeated conveyor belt of managers and a changed home, and have been embroiled in all sorts of, you know, points deductions and everything. There's nothing settling about that, mate. And I think it's a bit wild when you look at our away record to then claim that the home record is all down to sort of David Moyes and it's not down to other factors. I mean, come on. If you think about it, okay, maybe we've overperformed at home. Maybe we've played more risky and been statistically lucky, and it's paid off, right? But I can't accept that you're saying that the needle of favour is so balanced in our favour at home, and yet we can use all the valid justification of VAR and vexatious decisions and refereeing inconsistencies within and across the season to then claim unfairness at home that then wouldn't apply away when we're the least favoured team and we've got that. Come on, man. I don't think it's fair to rip David Moyes. And what's the solution? So to say that we've had limited players, to say from the very off that, and we've had a repeated succession of managers that have said we can't afford the players we want. We've got to manage with what we do, and maybe it's about squad depth and managing with what we've got, and that's what we're fucking doing, mate. Yeah, but that's what he said was going to happen. That's what's happening.
We stinge out on the transfers. We find the right players, and then we try and negotiate. We try and pay a fee that the club that's selling them don't want to sell it for. If I go into a shop and the RRP for an item is £5 and I offer you 50p, you're not going to sell it to me. If I offer you a £5, you're going to sell it to me. And if that is the item that I need, if I'm baking a loaf of bread and you're selling me flour and I need that flour and I buy it off you, I've got the ingredients that I need to deliver the item that I'm making. But I'm not. The problem is what we try and do is we're trying to be too savvy, and then we end up buying the wrong players. So I am blaming Moyes for poor recruitment in the summer. He signed Merlin Roll, he signed Asnu, he signed Barry, he signed Dibbling, he signed Alcaraz.
Players that either aren't good enough or we're not using or leave us liable based on the required other team selections. Because I just thought it's worth bringing up. Just hang on. But what you're saying there is we have a glut of players now, as we did previously, that we don't need or aren't good enough to get the job done to bump the players that are being selected in those positions. So we're now, again, we're paying anyway. But that's an interesting point. He signed the players.
He spent 100 million. It was the first time we were able to spend in years. He spent 100 million. I have always said from day one, and I said it in the summer videos, I said, I'd rather we spent 100 million on two 50 million pound players that walk in, that are the level of Illiman and Jai, that are the level of Jared Branthwaite, that are the level of Jordan Pickford. And we will then gradually, season on season,
a right back, a left back, and a striker.
Yeah. That's what I want us to do this summer. 40 million on a world-class right back, 40 million on a world-class left back. And then if we don't get anyone else, then fine. We'll build slowly. It didn't work. It's never worked when we've tried to sign 15 players in one window. Because we just signed a load of...
We're not Forest.
The issue is, though,
I wouldn't miss any of them. I wouldn't miss any of them that we signed apart from Dewsbury Hall.
Remember, we had 12 players out of contract in the summer, or 12 players leaving. So we needed to make all their big signings, and sometimes you can't just. You can't put all your eggs in one basket if you're trying to get so many players, if you know what I mean. I do think not getting a right back is one of the biggest failings of the recruitment side of things. We should have had a right back in. There's plenty of right backs out there. We know that.
He could have got Ben White on loan in Jan.
I wouldn't have want Ben White either, to be fair, but probably better than what we've got. Injury issues and things like that. And I think Diblin as well.
Seem like players he wants, is it really? Peter's probably right there. He's probably just ticked the box and gone, fuck it. Well, if we're not getting anyone else, then I might as well have him.
Well,
because he's only here for another year. So he's going to be selfish, isn't he? He's going to think about the time that he's here. Yeah,
but he has to sign off on the players, so a lot of it's going to be on the recruitment for that. Some of it's going to be on David Moyes as well. Should we talk about Newcastle?
I'll be honest. I think a lot of people are going to find it very difficult to focus on an individual fixture when there's a wider problem going on, and I think it's a stem. But in terms of Newcastle, my only real thoughts are that we got to quieten the crowd. We probably go back to status quo with the team, and don't let the referee turn it into a complete circus, and don't mess it up. And we will get a chance. I just don't trust us to take it when we get it. I just don't do it, and I think I'm just irritated. I'm just irritated. Rant over.
Are you sure?
Positive Yann back. Yeah.
Come on, Yann.
Yes.
Duracell bunny of the group.
Oh. What do you want from me?
Just positivity, lad. Be a good proton.
It's going to be a scrappy game. Newcastle at home. It's a fortress. They're a united team. They're pushing forwards to Europe. They're in the last 16 of the Champions League. Eddie Howe's solidified it. Luckily, they lost Isaac and came with Voltemada. The team of scoring goals. Pretty sort of, they've dropped off. They've not been that consistent, but they're scoring goals, and they scored 4 against us, and they know how to do it. They know how to beat us and frustrate us. They know what our issues are. We know that we're lacking consistency. We missed Jack Grealish. It's going to be tough. I am not positive. I can only.
Well, look, let me put some positive spins on things. Okay, so we'll start with the fact that while I'm not entirely positive, this game is going to play into our hands. We know what our away form's been like. My opinion in terms of the home form is that he plays positive football, or tries to play possession football, but doesn't play possession football, doesn't play the right players to play that system, and that's why we struggle. Against Man United, we push really, really high up without having the pace and centre-backs. That's what caught us on. We had all the ball, had absolutely no idea with it, don't know patterns of play, and yet they were able to go and counter-attack. Playing away from home, he's not likely to do that. It's not going to be a great game to watch. It's probably good that it's a 3 p.m. kickoff because no one's going to want to watch it on television. But it plays in our hands. It plays in the way we play. It's why our way form's better. So I think that's a positive. I also think... if you look at Newcastle's form over the season, there's very, very few times where they've played a game after a Champions League fixture midweek in the league and they've come away with 3 points. They've really struggled. They played Karabag. Yes, they rested a few players. Lewis Hall was rested. Anthony Gordon was rested. But apart from that, they had mainly a strong team out. So again, they could be fatigued. It's something that we can hopefully try and capitalise on as well. Especially last night. What's that? Sorry,
they played last night.
Yes, I think it was. Was it last night or Wednesday? They played, yeah. So I think they play Wednesday actually. So there'll be that bit of fatigue there, and that's something that we can go up against. It's just a case of picking the right players. Now, I understand if he wants to go defensive. I understand with O'Brien back if he wants to play him at right back. Away from home, counter-attacking football, it works. I've not got an issue with that there. It's at home that the issue is. But I don't think we can play Branthwaite at left-back and Keenan Tarkowski at centre-back because we've seen what pace can do to you. And Brumo's not rapid. He's got pace. He's not rapid. And Šeško has got pace as well. But again, he's not absolutely rapid. Well, Newcastle have got absolutely rapid players all across that front three. If Voltemada plays in central midfield or is on the bench like he has done a bit, they'll play with 3 rapid players up front and making hurt us. So we need to play with Branthwaite needs to be centre back.
Could play deep then, aren't we?
Yeah, but also even when we try and push up the pitch at times, you're still susceptible to the counter attack. If he does go with Jared Branthwaite at left back, at that point I'm going to be really disappointed because it's going to be purely attritional football, and
Just pointless, isn't it?
Exactly.
Because we shouldn't really mind a cross going into the box as long as it's not really into Ultimada. We should be able to deal with some of these smaller players. So I would rather have my big, strongest, faster centre backs playing than Tarkowski, who's been poor all season. I'm just being really blunt here. I'm just being direct today because I've tried to play devil's advocate, and because Yann's hosting, I've got the opportunity to just be pundit. And yeah, I want Branthwaite to play centre back. I don't like Mikalenko. I never have done. I'm used to watching Luka Dean and
that's not very nice.
And Leighton Baines. It's not very nice, is it? No, but I don't really care, to be honest, because he's like a Ukrainian Tony Hibbert. He's sucked the life out of me for years. Of nothing going forward. I've had enough. I don't really want to watch him again. I don't really want to watch Michael Keane again, I'll be honest with you. I haven't wanted to watch him for years. He somehow found himself back in. I haven't forgot about him under Marco Silva or Sam Allardyce or Ronald Koeman or one of the other 15,000 managers we've had. But he's still doing it now, maybe because he's a nice guy. I don't care whether you're a nice guy. I care who's going to win us a football match.
This is one of the things where this is one of the major issues. I'm going to bring it back to this because these are the similar patterns that we see with Sean Dyche. The amount of times he would keep Keane in and and keep Branthwaite out just because he wants Michael Keane in, and he was constantly doing that, and that was to the detriment of the club. And that's what Moyes is doing at times, and that's where I've got to keep using this word as opposed to anger. It's frustration because of something like this, and we're seeing Dychisms in what we're seeing in David Moyes at the moment.
I'm going to say one thing, and this is slightly off topic, but we play Burnley on Tuesday, okay, which is a massive game. I want to win the Burnley match. I'll take a draw on Saturday against Newcastle. I want to win the Burnley game. The way we're going to win the Burnley game, we're going to have most of the ball. We're going to be having our centre-backs on the halfway line. We've got to always have 3 if they're leaving 2 up. 4 if they've got 3. We've got to have an extra defender. For some reason, the goal we conceded against Man U, we've got every effing person under the sun on the other outside of the pitch, and we leave the slowest person on his own 1v1 with Mbeumo, who's a £70 million player, absolutely brain dead from all of them. And there's 350 appearances from Garner, 350 from Tarkowski, 350 from Pickford, 350 from Keane. They've got more experience than a 115-year-old woman at eating hot dinners. Now, what I do want to say is...
So I left to mute myself for a second. That's absolutely crazy.
What I want to say is but they still wouldn't know how to pick up a knife and fork, those 4. There's like brain dead between them. They should have read the situation and not allowed that to happen. Anyway, so to avoid this against Burnley, I want my 2 centre-backs to be quick. I want Jake O'Brien right-sided centre-back. I want James Tarkowski left-sided centre-back. I want them 2 because they can play on the halfway line. They're strong enough. They're quick enough. They're athletic enough to deal with the Burnley threat on the counter because most of the other people... And then one person's going to sit and sweep. Okay? Which means maybe against Newcastle, we do have to go with that back 4 of last season that was effective. Mikalenko, Branthwaite, Tarkowski, O'Brien. Or maybe it is something else, because I think we will get pinned back by Newcastle. There will be a lot of 1v1 defending. There will be backs to the walls. I don't think our fullbacks are going to get forward. And in this game tomorrow, I think we're going to need a moment of magic from an Illiman and Jai or a Dewsbury Hall or just something, a moment. I think a moment rather than a pattern of play. A moment, whereas on Tuesday, we're going to need patterns of play. We're going to need to be very good at breaking them down, taking our chances, and we should comfortably beat Burnley. But there's a big contrast in these 2 fixtures, isn't there, Ian?
Well, based on what you've just said, I mean, against Newcastle, I think it's very likely that we're going to see Keane, Tarky, and what's been said. Oh, sorry, it might be potential that we're going to see O'Brien if he's fit. But Branthwaite will play at left back, and we might see someone playing it. No. I'm serious. Is that based on knowing that the pattern of how we've set up against certain teams? I suspect we might see James Garner at right back. If not James Garner, can Jared Branthwaite go there? Do you know what I'm trying to say? Do you see what I'm getting? Like, there's going to be some sort of 4 centre backs or 3 centre backs and a centre midfielder.
Yeah, but that's it. It's because we don't have the fullbacks, isn't it? Really. I agree with Ryan, by the way, in terms of Mykolenko. I think he seems like a really, really sound lad, but he's just really not up to the ability. It absolutely like I get really, really
Yeah,
sad and
battered
frustrated
against any.
just watching because he just doesn't have the ability. But
He
fair
gets
play to
mullered by anyone who's got a bit of speed or physicality, and he's not good in the home games. He can't play in these home games.
especially going forward as well. I mean, difference is that he offers more natural width than what Branthwaite does at left back, and I do think Branthwaite, with the ability that he has, he makes Mykolenko look better because he pushes up a bit higher and he covers for Mykolenko, whereas Michael Keane doesn't. That natural left footer, he will also cover that space with the pace, which Mykolenko struggles with straight down instead of players cutting in.
We won some games last year, Corey, with that back four of O'Brien, Mykolenko, Toffees and O'Brien, and home matches. I recall as battering Spurs, Leicester, and there were others in there. And I just don't know what, and Sunderland, I just don't know what's changed in the space of, he needs to just go back to whatever he was doing then, but he's got the added quality of a Dewsbury Hall in there. Apart from that, it's pretty much very similar. He had Calvert-Lewin who can't score. Now he's got Barry who can't score and Better who can't score. So
I mean, away from home, we see it. You know what I mean? Away from home, we do see that because we defend deep and we get on the counter attack or we do the mid block. When we're at home, we try and play possession football. We get really high up the pitch, despite him playing two slugs at centre back, and despite having really, really slow old midfield.
That only works if you press, Corey.
Idrissa Gay has lost a lot of energy this season.
Yeah, but we play better when we have a cohesive press, which has been applauded in other teams as well. When we played against United, we played so well. We seemed to dominate that game more than most other games this season because there was a cohesive press and that some of the substitutions seemed to make a bit more sense. Not that they were perfect, but that we had and Kiernan Dewsbury Hall his ability to chase down Harrison Armstrong, the speed, the ability to at least compete and make Manchester United realise that it wasn't going to be an easy game because they almost capitulated and did what they've been doing earlier in this. You follow me, don't you?
Yeah, and the press.
Yeah.
Now the thing for me then is when we go out and how many footballing goals do we score, or is it where we sit back and try to defend well, or play it around and don't really threaten and then walk back and not throw? We don't play a forward throw in. We'd repeat the same type of corner 4 times, and it's like the Royal Rumble. And at one time, we had 2 or 3 players scattered on the edge of the box, and you're just thinking, pass it to them, let them have a shot, and even if it ends up being deflected another corner. Now, I'm just thinking, there's no footballing nous. There's no awareness. There's no urgency. That I mean, it runs down to everything. You know, the fact that you see clips on social media of Jose Mourinho, or for instance, ball boys and big clubs, Real Madrid, Liverpool. There's been times when they just everybody is switched on that football is happening, and that a throw in is going to happen. Well, the referee can't blow for a throw in if instead of deciding you just throw it. Right, and football's already started. They're not the boss of the game. They're the boss. They're the arbiter of the rules. And so, when you end up with another ball on the pitch, and why is the ball boy sat? I'm not blaming individuals, but what's happened to the culture? What's happened to the culture that then bleeds onto the pitch? Because right, you have away games where it feels like we fight for it and we get those scrappy goals that we're still relying on at home to get the corners and the free kicks and the scrappy little things, and they're heading it in and getting it in the back post. Sure. And it's not football. Do you know what I mean?
What you've touched on that's really resonated with me here is David Moyes when he switches from one extreme to another. So against United, we did play with intensity. I agree. We did try and play with intensity, particularly in the second half, not so much in the first. And that was aggressive, being switched on, fighting for every ball. We did press cohesively generally as well. But when you play slow defenders, if you don't press, they just knock it in behind you, as you saw. And that's what happens. you can play slow defenders if you press very aggressively. The minute you don't have a press, you have to drop deeper, you have to go deeper and deeper, and you're compensating more and more. What I found Moyes to do, which has also been a bit strange, he just can't find the balance. So he goes from, I'm going to set up, I'm going to put Armstrong in because he's 6'2" and he's physically strong. I'm going to put my strongest Timur Abunam, another one, a ball winner. I'm going to put my 11 Sunday League style physical players in there. And then what I'm going to do when it goes wrong and we concede a goal, he rips it up. He goes completely the opposite. And he'll have two strikers on the pitch. He'll have one defensive midfielder. He'll have the fullback bombing. It just goes from one extreme to another. Why can't you just find a nice balance that'll see us win games and then shut up shop? A happy medium. Against Newcastle, we should be able to nick a goal and shut up shop. That's what we need to do. And probably I'd still do that against Burnley. I'd take any type of win against Burnley. Any win, come off his bum
considering like the Heisenberg uncertainty principle or space time. This shirt is a medium, so and we and you wear a medium, so we're not very happy. It's all been used up on the medium. Sorry.
Is that why I'm not happy? Because I'm a fat bastard in a XL. Jolly fat man with a beard.
So what have we had? Punching children. Right, yeah, that's not just.
I've got a 16-month-old daughter, so I've had to quickly retract from that comment of the punching children. But I think we'll beat Newcastle and lose to Burnley, and that'll be the synopsis of the season. And that is purely because if you're a gambling man, you look at trends and you look at themes, and you can see we don't win any night games. You should have lumped loads of money on that Man United one.
Yeah, I didn't have much faith we were going to win that game. Then I seen the starting lineup. I had no faith we were going to win that game. And then you watch us play, even though we had all the ball, like in terms of the pressing. And this is what I've said: we go very defensive. The pressing, the players are playing for the manager. The players are playing for the manager. They really are. I don't think he's lost his dress room in any way, shape, or form. I think it's far too early to be talking about things like that. But I just think that. Even though we can press as high up as we want and get the ball, but if we've got no attacking nous about it, then what are you going to do? We're playing far too central. We've got a centre back playing left back, two slow centre backs. We've got two holding midfielders and a number 8 in the number 10 role. We've got one wide player. We've got a central midfielder playing that way. There's no creativity, so you can be solid. As I said,
two half strikers.
Yeah, and to be honest, I think seeing nobody get a bit of stick in this chat, and I thought he played okay against United. He had absolutely nothing. The lad's actually, he's underperforming his XG by like a tenth or 200ths of a G, whatever we call it, of a goal.
There's more sniffs down on a Saturday night and in outside a club than he get against Manchester United. He really has. He's extremely isolated. He's, and
the way
he might as well
plays,
be on a desert island. He has that little service. I want to see Beto given a chance. Can we get this Beto guy 1v1 in behind? I haven't seen a single game all season where Beto's been sent 1v1 and given his bread and butter opportunity to score.
Yeah, I thought we were going to play more counter-attacking football this season, like at home as well. High intensity, but still counter-attacking, mid-block. As soon as they come into your half, attack them, and then you can send Beto through. I don't think he's exceptional, but he can be efficient in terms of putting him through on goal, like you've said there. But I think Tino Barry can also do the same, and we're just not playing to their strengths at all. I don't think we have anyone close enough to him. Again, we're saying this at the start of the season when we had that slump after we got knocked out the League Cup by Wolves. We played Dewsbury Hall with the number 10, Jesse Garner, Gay, James Garner, far too deep. 4-2-3-1 means teams can pass through you and they can break your press.
It's not joined up football.
Exactly. And
would it be safe to say, Corey, that we're not very good in both boxes and we're not actually that good on the wings either? As in full back to wide option.
Isn't it just much easier to say at this point we're not very good?
What is it Moyes said? We're not good in defence, we're not good in midfield, and we're not good in attack. When he was at United or something like that, there's issues. No, I'll be honest. I think for some reason, the way Moyes plays, he doesn't play through the middle. We don't have players who will play the ball vertically, i.e. the ball with James Garner to do that. I think Keenan Dewsbury will try to do that, but we don't have the players to do that all over the pitch. I think we play like a team who plays wing play, and we don't have wingers for it. And part of that is because we don't have any pace out wide. You can get away with a bit of pace out wide if you've got fullbacks who will bomb on, and we don't have that. And again, if you're playing pace out, if you're playing wing play, what's going to happen there is you're going to have one central midfielder who drops deep, split the centre backs. Centre backs will push out wide and allow your fullbacks to bomb on. We don't do that at all. We don't have the legs. I don't think Idrissa Gana Gueye has the energy in midfield at the moment. There's just, you can get away with one or two of these things that Moyes was trying to do to be a bit more defensive. And a while I wasn't happy with it at the start of the season. We were still doing okay, and we were getting results in here and there, inconsistent, but getting results. But now he's gone too far one side in terms of centre backs at full back. Your best central midfielder at right back, I get he's good. Two holding midfielders in, central midfielder at left midfield. You can get away with doing one or two of them things as a makeshift or as an idea to get you through a game, but you can't be doing 4 or 5 of these defensive things, otherwise you're just done for. What are we laughing at? Oh my days. Oh my days.
I wasn't going to laugh. Really, and laugh.
I wasn't laughing until you laughed.
It's terrible.
The boys, shall we before it descends and before we all get into trouble? What do we think then? Do we have any ideas? What do you think this start 11 is going to be? Is there going to be any changes to the one that played against United?
No.
It's going to be the same.
I knew that was going to happen. Start again. Delete this stream. It's been too rude. Too obnoxious. Season tickets are getting revoked left, right, and centre. I've been quite rude to some of the players, and I'll have the stadium security guy on the phone. And I don't think he'll change the team. I think he'll go with the same 11 that he started against United. I think he'll use the excuse that Tyreek George won't do the dirty work, maybe won't do the defensive work.
We've seen him in
sorry. I will make one change. I think Jake O'Brien will come back to right back.
And then Garner in for Tim.
Possibly, yeah.
Yeah,
But you could go to back 5 in this game.
No, I don't think back 5 works.
Are we going to try and score a goal in this game?
Nope.
No.
Are we going to try? The only way we're going to try and score a goal is if when Newcastle get everyone forward on the counter-attack, we leave Tyreek George, Barry, and or Beto for Beto. In a counter-attacking game, I want Beto.
He's stronger.
In a possession game, I want Barry because he's better on the ball. He links play, and I think he will do that. And against weaker opposition, but I think against someone like we could go 4-4-2 and leave the pair of them, but I just don't think they link well in the counter-attack. You want George, you want Dewsbury Hall, pick a pocket or two, as the great Fagan said in Oliver Twist. Pick the ball off and slip someone through 1v1, nick a goal and backs to the wall defending and frustrate them and take an age on the free kick, take an age on the corner, fake injuries, get in people under people's skin. But to do that, we need Newcastle to push more and more men forward, to meet a brick wall in our centre backs and our defenders, and to have players who can make a difference in the final third, and that's Njai, George, Dewsbury Hall, and Beto or Barry. I think this will be a 1-1 draw, or Everton will nick it, because I'm going on trend of the season and how these games have been. We've won games where we've expected to lose, and we've scrumped very badly against any opposition we're expected to win, particularly at home. Ian.
Yeah. I mean, at what point are we going to actually see any of the players that we've signed do the kind of things that they've done previously or here?
Would you start them though? Let's be honest. Would you actually play any?
That's what. Well, I was just about to say. Are you likely to? We're going to see the same usual mix, and it just depends on maybe his thoughts and reflections on how United are going to set up. Of course, we're not going to see Asnu or Patterson. Of course, we're not going to have anything other than 3 centre backs, whether that's at left back or right back. Whether Jake O'Brien is at right back.
Don't even play a back 3 out of possession anymore. That was last season. We were playing a
No,
back
what-
three out of possession. We don't do that anymore.
No. What I'm saying is we're going to see 3 centre backs across
I
the
know.
back 4 positions,
Yeah,
and whether
exactly.
that's Mikolenko playing, and it's just
But that works when it
don't-
converts to a back three and when we've got Mikolenko high and high like we did last season. Mikolenko was very high, and then Loud and Jai to tuck in. And was it this season? But you're spot on. We'll play with the 4. I'll give you my 2 teams, and then you give you my teams. My team for Newcastle and my team for Burnley is a big contrast. Okay, left back, I'm going Vitaly Mikolenko. Left centre back, I'm going Jared Banthwaite. Right centre back, Tarkowski, and that's not necessarily on form. And right back, I'm going Jake O'Brien, and I don't like it, but this is what won their last season, I think, or was it Keane? I don't want Keane. Sorry, my midfield, I'm going with James Garner, Idrissa Gana Gueye, Keenan Dewsbury Hall, Iliman and Jai. Pick your poison at left wing, probably Armstrong, and up front.
Why not try Tyreek George?
Because I'm more thinking for the Burnley game. I think any of our players can do the job that we need to do against Newcastle, which is kind of like a low block, backs to the walls, get it up the pitch and counter attack on a mistake. Which is why I'm not as fussed for the Newcastle, but for the Burnley game, I'm very adamant that we need Branthwaite and O'Brien as the centre backs, and we need. I don't know. They can't play. They can't both play 90 minutes. All of them can't play 90 minutes within 3 days, and I think the Burnley game, because of the style of play, being high up the pitch, we're going to need the pace in the back line. Players who can, like Man City. Okay. The top teams, Arsenal, Man City and all that, the centre-backs are basically midfielders who can win the ball back quickly and defend 1v1. They've got the passing ability of all the midfielders. And the only ones we've got who can do that are probably Jake O'Brien and Jared Banthwaite. So they have to play because they're going to be the ones that are dictating the play from deep and having to win the ball back. Letting midfielders bob on beyond. I don't know about Newcastle. I think against Newcastle, we could possibly revert to type, although I don't like it. And I don't think some of those players deserve to play on merit. I think that's what you have to do. I mean, Corey, let's talk about stats. You're our stats guy and you're our transfer guy. Tarkowski, his rating against Man United was 7.98, I think it was. It was one of the highest he got in the team of the week. But the eye test tells me he got outpaced on a 1v1, which actually
you cannot. I don't think it's fair to blame the individual for a tactical setup or a moment of, because football is a moment. Football is a game of exploiting fine margins and mistakes and misdirections.
I don't think that one moment defined his full game. I don't think he had a fantastic game, to be honest, but that one moment didn't define his game. But what it does define is the massive issue at hand with him, is that he is aging. He doesn't have the legs. And if you are going to play higher up the pitch and you want to play progressive football, he's just not going to cut it. He's great when you've got to defend deep and you've got to throw yourself in front of the ball. But that was relegation Everton. This is Everton who should be...
should be what? Not in a relegation, or not in with the other 10 clubs that are in the middle of the table.
This is the Everton team that we want to be able to be fighting for Europe, not necessarily expecting to get it, but to be fighting for Europe. And to do that, you need to win games. And to win games, you need to be more progressive and you need to be higher up the pitch. And to do that, you can't leave yourself vulnerable to counter-attacks because you've got James Tarkowski at centre-back, really, really struggling to get back. If you want to be really critical, he should have been smarter, took the booking and took the man out, took Šeško out the game much earlier. But I get why he did it. It's a long way from goal, so that saves you. But also, it's a long way from goal, so you think, well, we've got a lot there to there's a bit
just
of a
pick it out there and make it basically a third man.
Yeah, I mean, look, if we're going on the team for Newcastle, we go a bit defensive. O'Brien, Tarkowski, Branthwaite.
Sorry, hang on, Corey, please. In that incident there, Pickford has got a view. He can see that Tarkowski's getting outpaced. First of all, Tarkowski should pull him back and take the foul, a bit like we saw in one of the games that Liverpool did last match, I think it was. And there was a blatant, he just pulls him. He just let him go. Nothing bad about it. He just does it and takes the yellow card. He doesn't do it. He lets him run past him, which for me is stupid. It's a lack of an experience. But surely Pickford sees that there, and maybe does he have to then engage?
Can he do anything? It's because all Pickford has to do is take a couple of steps one way and he makes it Mbeumo's decision for him. And if he does that, well, you go, what is Pickford doing? He's lost his head. So I think sometimes you go with the sensible decision. Maybe it's not the right decision, and maybe it's not what you expect from Pickford because he's a bit of a maverick. But sometimes you just go with a sensible decision, and it's not the one that's going to get you anything. But you go with the.
Does Keane back off?
What's that? Keane backs off on Bruno in a way where to not let him go, because if Bruno's got the pace to get round Keane, he's through on goal. So what Keane's doing is basically, I'm going to hold him off, which he's probably doing the smart, probably not the right thing, but he's doing the smart thing of, I'll hold him off. Yeah, he might cut back and get in, but that gives my teammates, he's relying on his teammates to get back and support him there. That's all he can do. Again, if he engages in Bruno too much, who's got the pace, well, he's gone in to engage the man who's going to get round him, and he's let his man go through one-on-one. So Keane's done what he can. He's just relying on the rest of his team to get back and defend the counter. Unfortunately, Tarkowski got done despite having a 5-10 yard advantage on Šeško.
Corey, I know you've got to go. You've got to go, but I just need to ask you one more thing. You've made a very good point there, and you can go after this. What you've described as a goal that Newcastle will do to us time and time again if we let them. They did it to us 4 times at Bramley-Moore Dock. Okay, yeah. The counter attack. The turnover from the midfielder not pressing, the striker not pressing, letting people go past us like we're not there, and breezing through, and the keeper all over the place. They have the players to do that. They have Gordon, they have Alanga, they have Woltemade, they have players with pace. Harvey Barnes. What can they do to stop that? If we go and press and get up the pitch, how do we stop them just running up the other end and getting us?
So I think O'Brien at right back, be defensive. Yep. Tarkowski's going to play centre-back, although I would personally play O'Brien there in an ideal world, but you're going to play Tarkowski for captaincy. Branthwaite has to play centre-back. You need that pace. Branthwaite has to play centre-back. I think I wouldn't have Idrissa again because he doesn't have the energy. I'll play a flat 4 in midfield in terms of, flat 3, in midfield in terms of Armstrong, Dewsbury Hall and James Garner, but allowing Dewsbury Hall and Harrison, Armstrong to bomb forward. Then they can swap and change in terms of going forward. Both of them can overload the centre backs and connect close to Barry, and they give you protection in midfield. They give you energy. And what happens then? James Garner can sit deep when we're on set pieces. By set deep, I don't mean on the halfway line, because he's very, very good with his delivery from outside the box and his long range strikes. But if he's deeper, he might not be rapid, but he has got the energy that Idrissa Gana doesn't have, and that time Scott Coyce don't have, to counter-attack. We've seen him foil a couple of Manchester United counter-attacks in the first half, getting back, putting a slide tackle in, and he has got that nounce about him to do the dirty work and make the tactical foul. So that's what I do. Branthwaite at centre-back, flat midfield of Garner, Dewsbury Hall and Armstrong, and you have James Garner saying, I want you to screen. If you need to split the centre-backs, but I want you to screen. Get the ball. You've got a good delivery from deep into the box. You can switch the play. You can rocket to the goal. He's that safety net there. But then to do that, you need to have players out wide who can cross the ball in, because we're relying on James Garner to cross the ball in from out wide.
So what you want is someone who's got pace to defend the counter-attack, someone who can win the second ball, someone who can win the first ball, someone who can sit between the two centre-backs to help protect them so the ball doesn't get at them so quickly, someone who can cross the ball, someone who can get in the box on the end of the box from the wing and score, a striker who's going to knock someone off and score, a keeper who's going to make us... So basically, we're not asking for a lot.
No, I think it's small tweaks. Like I said, pacey centre back and Branthwaite makes a massive difference. He makes Mikalenko play better. I think he's the pace that helps stop fight against the pacey counter attacks and the pacey players that Newcastle have got. James Garner sitting deep helps the screen. And then the only other thing we need from there really is to get players in the box. But again, Dewsbury Hall and
No. We don't need to get players in the box. We need to be more intelligent about where they do. Sorry, I don't want to see the Royal Rumble
that many game until we went on the down. Though that's the
problem. But we have isolated strikers. Sometimes we have isolated strikers because, like you say, we don't have the ball playing defenders that can distribute it like midfielders. So then there's lack of transition between people joining up, and then it seems as if we're just lumping.
Always got to go. Always got to go.
Yeah.
Okay.
0-0 slugfest. Going to be a horrible game. Up the Toffees.
Go on, finish that. Bye, Cos. Bye,
all right, but my thought being, of course, as you say, like neither Beto's not been given the one-on-ones and the opportunities. Barry, although he might be chosen for a possession-style game, he's very much isolated. We lump the ball in, and even when we have these corners, we repeat it, and there's no one on the edge of the box. We don't play the quick. Hang on. We don't do the quick forward throw-ins, and also we don't do the smart free kicks or anything like that. But more than that, it just seems as if we're not willing to try to do joined up football. And the scary thing about playing Newcastle is they do. We've seen what we have moments of brilliance where you go, oh, that's good football, but it's not consistent, and it's frustrating, really.
The set pieces, Ian. Can we just talk about that and then wrap it up? What the hell was going on against United?
Oh, you mean the corners? And honestly, okay. Well, what it was
That's
there
it.
were about 3 or 4.
We
There
go in
were
that
about
position. They follow us, don't they?
Yes, but United are always a very, you don't realize this because they go after good quality players, but their ethos is very physical, very they're very switched on. They take their players. There's a non-footballing element to the game, and they won some free kicks over innocuous. They bought very soft fouls and very cheap, and sometimes they weren't even around the halfway line, so they could then put us under immediate pressure and potentially risk things like yellow cards and to just rattle us at home, and that's what they achieved.
Would we have not been better from the set pieces rather than do the rugby scrum around the goalie to maybe have had one blocker on the keeper, let everyone else do what they want, and then try and isolate some of the weaker headers of the ball? So Mbuemo, Cunha, Seska, and try and get your better headers on them and try and hit it 1v1 so that you have to outjunt them and head it in the goal, rather than that whole sort of scramble with everyone blocking it.
The scramble where we play a 1 in 4 chance of the referee immediately blowing up for a free kick, or it just being immediately caught by the keeper because we're trying to loop it over and play fine margins with where it's placed to get it.
You won't need to get one flick and it's in because you're that close to the goal, but we weren't getting any headers on them because we're putting them straight in the goalie's hands. I don't think Newcastle have got a good keeper though, so I think maybe we could try something. Anyway, Ian, I need to go in a minute. And I think
I mean, we've broken it apart. I think it's going to be a tough game, and it's impossible to say how it's going to go because, as Moyes and everyone has said, it's been fine margins, but margins that we're not winning.
We've got a lot off our chest. It's been a very productive chat.
Yeah, thanks for joining us, everyone. Thanks, Ryan. We will be, of course, doing post-match reactions and lots of other stuff because there's the Burnley game as well. Brentford, Burnley. Yeah.
Yeah. Yann, are you doing anything? I'm working. I've got a wedding. Are you going to be about tomorrow to do anything after the Newcastle game?
Not on my own. I don't do solo videos.
No, I know you don't do them on your own.
Right.
See you later. Bye.
Bye.
Doesn't like